Hey, today I want to talk about this DirecTV GenieGo. I know when I was thinking about getting this, I wasn't really sure how it worked, and it was kind of hard to tell the details from both the DirecTV people and the website. And being a little bit technical, I like to understand these things before I go ahead and invest in them. So I thought I might spend a little bit of time and just go over this and let you know how it works, both the hardware device and the corresponding software that goes on your PC or your tablet's devices. First of all, this is the box right here. It's pretty simple. It's not very heavy. In the back, it has an Ethernet port. There is no wireless for this. You have to plug it right into your router. Or in my case, I have an extension Ethernet switch. And there's also a USB slot on the back, as well as, of course, your power. And then on the front, you have some indicators. One is the status indicator, network in the middle, and then activity. And another USB plug in the front, and I have a USB memory stick in here right now. A SanDisk 32 gigs, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And then your little reset button down here in case the guy locks up. So the theory of this is pretty simple. It just plugs onto your network, and you configure it from the GenieGo software on your PC, and it finds your DVRs on the network. And through your software in the PC, you can tell which programs that are being saved on your DVR you want to be able to watch on your PC or tablet. This device is essentially a transcoder and a storage device. So when you tell it you want to record, say, the Andy Griffith Show, whenever it finds the Andy Griffith Show on your DVR, it will transcode that recording into a format that's compatible with your PC and your tablets. And they'll save it on this guy. This guy has 16 gigabytes of built-in RAM, which is the reason I put this additional 32 in here. It basically will store those recordings on here until there's no more memory left, and then it'll delete the first one that it saves. So basically a first in is going to be the first out. Now if you're saving a lot of programs and you don't download them to your PC or tablet soon enough, they may get deleted off of here before they actually get downloaded. So that's why I've added this additional memory. Okay, let's go ahead. It requires Ethernet, and I've got one here. I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. And then we'll put the power in, just to show you what it looks like. It's not really much to look at. It'll start to power up here. Flashing blue status light on the far left. Takes a few seconds for it to get running. Okay, there we can see the device has become active. The status light's solid blue, the network's a solid blue, and now our activity light's blinking. It's most likely transcoding some videos because I do have some programmed to be downloaded to the PC. Anyway, this is the normal state of operation for this device. And it's also probably important to note, it does not have to be anywhere close proximity to your DVR. It just needs to be plugged in to an Ethernet port on your network. And they also give you some mounting holes here if you want to put this guy up on a wall. Okay, let's move on and we'll discuss the software that operates this guy. One other note on the expanding the memory with this USB stick. I guess you can also use any USB hard drive. They have those little portable USB hard drives if you need even more storage. But you probably want to have your software installed on your PC and running first, because what I've noticed when I plug these in the past is when you first plug it in, within probably a few minutes, you'll get a little pop-up window in your GenieGo software on the PC that asks if you want to go ahead and format this USB memory stick for use as external storage for this device. Okay, now that you have your hardware installed, you're going to need to get the application software. The best thing to do is get a web browser open and just go to directv.com/GenieGo, GenieGo. Here you can see there's software available for some Apple devices, the Androids, PCs, or Macintoshes. Of course, with the Apple, you're going to download those from the iTunes Store. Same with the Android, you'll download those from the Google Play Store. For the PC and Macintosh, you'll download it directly here from the DirecTV website. In any case, that's pretty self-explanatory. Just download it and install the application. Okay, now I've got the application installed on my Windows 7 PC, and we're looking at the main tiled view, what they call the poster view, And this is showing what's actually on my GenieGo DVR, which is in the other room. You can look at what's on the DVR, or what's actually been downloaded to your PC so far. These buttons seem to be a little bit reverse in my mind. Actually, the one that's got the dark background is what we're looking at now, the DVR playlist. Click on this, and we'll see what's been downloaded or downloading to my local PC here. They also give you a filter, so if you have a lot of stored videos, you can narrow it down to movies, sports, or TV shows. Just about everything I've recorded so far are TV shows. We also have a choice here to look at more of a list view. And I think most people probably prefer this tiled view. There's also a search option here. Let's just search for Dad. And here we find American Dad and Breaking Bad for some reason. Okay, let's go ahead and clear that. And there's also a refresh button here. Go out to the DirecTV GenieGo, or whichever DVR you have, and refresh your list. And then over here is the download list. This will show you what's in the process of downloading or what's in the queue to be downloaded. It'll also show you what is actually being prepared or converted on the GenieGo hardware so it can be downloaded to your computer. And it will actually show you what's being converted for other computers that will not be downloaded to this particular computer at this time anyway. Okay, so now you've got some videos downloaded to your PC and you want to watch them. We just go to the On the PC window as opposed to what's on our actual DVR. And first of all, let me show you here. You see something's downloading. It's currently in the process. It's 12%. To see what it is, you can come up here to your download list. And we can see it's downloading this Rafe Hollister version of the Andy Griffith Show. Now notice over here when we double click on this to open it, you will not see the Rafe Hollister version. It will not show up here until it's actually been fully downloaded. Recordings will stay on your computer for 30 days and they'll be automatically deleted, and you have a button here to delete them if you're done with them ahead of time, want to free up some space. Otherwise, to play them, just hit the play button, you'll get a new window will pop up. Pause is briefly what optimizes the video. Then we have some basic controls here. You can mute, on and off, change your volume. We can also have a little jog wheel here. We can change the position in the video if you want to skip ahead a little bit. You can see it's almost instantaneous because it's been downloaded to the local PC. It's not actually going out to the DVR to retrieve the data. These can jump ahead and jump back 30 seconds. That's the time code over here, 30 seconds. You can also go ahead at 2 times speed. You have to hold this down. You can't just click on it and release. It's more of a jog. And same thing here. Then you have your pause and your play, of course, and you can resize the window, and you also have a full screen option. Okay, suppose you want to watch a video that has not been downloaded to your device yet. It's still just on the DVR itself, and you don't want to wait for all the time for it to be encoded and downloaded. No problem, just go to your DVR playlist view here and double click on whichever program you want to watch and pick the show. Notice here it says watch now and stream as opposed to play now. Play now applies when it's been downloaded already, and watch now is just for streaming. And there's also an option to download to the PC if you want to wait the time to do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's also notice here we're in the process of downloading some other videos. Which we can't do while that's open. Aha. Okay, so Andy Griffith's being downloaded. Close that back up. Go back to the Daily Show. And let's watch this Raja. It's going to take a little bit longer to start when you're streaming as opposed to when it's already been downloaded to your PC. Actually, this new version, version 2, which just came out yesterday, December 13th, 2013, seems to be a lot faster than the old version 1.5. Normally that would have taken quite a bit longer. Anyway, we have position control here, so we can drag just about anywhere. Now you notice when you're streaming live, you're not going to see the video scroll across the screen. You're going to have to pretty much guess here. And then, of course, there's going to be a pause while we go out and the hardware starts transcoding again. So it is really not the way to watch videos if you plan to jump around a lot. You'll also notice that the 2-time forward and reverse has been taken away. You still have the jump ahead 30 seconds. But once again, that's not going to be instantaneous because you are streaming live. So I don't know how practical streaming is for some people. I guess if you're going to watch the video right from the beginning without jumping ahead, it's probably going to be all right. Otherwise, you probably want to go ahead and wait to have the time for it to transcode and download to your device. If you want to automatically download a particular TV show to your device, your computer, whatever the case may be, you can do that pretty easily. Just go in, double click, and you'll see down the bottom left there's a button to auto download the series. What will happen immediately, it will go out and check your GenieGo to see if this particular episode has already been encoded, and immediately start downloading them if so. If not, it'll start the encoding process, and then in the future it will automatically download episodes to your computer as they become available. Now it's important to note, if I haven't already mentioned this, that your GenieGo software on the PC must be running for the downloads to occur. There is no automatic background process. Conversely, if you want to unsubscribe, you can just uncheck this. And there's also another way, which I've shown you before. You can just go to your settings, and here it'll show you all of the different TV shows you've automatically subscribed to. And if you want to undo any of this, you can just uncheck the particular show. Okay, let's take a look at the settings options. Our new universal icon for settings these days is this little gear. And here we'll see what we can do. What we used to do in the old version, back in 1.5, we just upgraded to 2.0, used to be able to select where you could actually save these downloaded videos. I actually had a different disk drive set up for videos alone, so it didn't fill up my main system disk, but now it has taken that option away, and it's going to force you to put this in your user's app data roaming DirecTV /Go video folder. So it looks like I have no choice from here on in. Not too happy about that. Also, if you have multiple DVDs, you can select which ones this GenieGo will look at as far as being able to download videos. If you have children in the house, you don't want them to be able to access your program, you can set a 4-digit passcode. I'm not going to do that here. And then you also see which of your programs are set to automatically download to your computer. And as you can just uncheck these to get rid of them. And then finally, it'll tell you whether or not your out-of-home access is successfully set up. And what exactly is that? Basically, it lets you, if you're somewhere on the road, you can come in and browse your DVD, your DVR recordings. You can also stream, which may be a problem if you don't have enough bandwidth. And then you can add DVR recordings to your download list. One thing you cannot do is you cannot actually download videos from your DVR to your device while you're on the road. But you can stream. And what this requires is to set up your router. Basically, it was port forwarding. And they do give you directions on how to do that. This basically just tells you that you have in fact set your router up and it is working properly. Okay, let's take a look at the help options here. We can go to an answer center, which will basically open a new web browser and take you to the DirecTV.com site with a list of frequently asked questions. And we also have a nice little button here called System Info. That gives us some information about the application and the GenieGo itself. It gives us our current version here. As I noted, this thing just updated itself to version 2 on December 13th, 2013. Had been running, I believe, 1.5 something. And tells you where they're being stored. As we noted before, used to be able to change this, and now we can't. And it also tells me how much of my hard disk is free. Unfortunately, this is my main system disk, and I'd prefer to have these off on a separate disk, but I guess DirecTV has thought better of that for some reason. I don't know why, because these videos are encrypted. In any regard, here's the actual IP address of the GenieGo itself, and this shows which TC ports are being used for that off-site streaming we just talked about. And it also tells you how much memory is free on the storage on the GenieGo. Remember, it comes with 16 gigabytes internal. There's also a USB slot, so I added a USB memory stick of 32 gig. That gives me a total of 45 gigs after it's been formatted. Basically, it'll take your videos off your DVR. It'll do what they call a transcoding, puts it into a different format that can be read on your PCs and your tablets, and it stores it on the GenieGo device until your software on either your PC, Mac, or device downloads it from the GenieGo. Once that 16 gigabytes that's built into the GenieGo starts to fill up, it will start to delete the saved videos on a first-in, first-out basis. So if you're saving a lot of videos and you're not getting to download them right away, or you have a lot of different devices that are downloading them, they may not be online all the time, you probably want to add some more memories. Otherwise, you might end up having to transcode that same video more than once. It's pretty inexpensive to do, so probably a good option. I think a 32 gig stick was about less than $20 these days. There's also an option here to reset your device back to factory defaults if it just starts to go crazy on you. And then there's a Diagnostics tab which does some connectivity tests, and they don't really tell you what's going on there, but all green, everything looks good. Here's one important thing to note about the GenieGo software, at least on this Windows PC. It does seem to have a lot of problems. And we're looking at an error message that just popped up here. The actual application itself has encountered an error. I've never seen these before the upgrade to version 2.0, but typically you will see a lot of errors throughout the day, probably several saying that the GenieGo software has lost connection with your DVR and will ask you to reconnect. So I don't know if the GenieGo becomes busy or what the situation may be, but it's a pretty common problem I've seen here. Okay, I just want to go over a few key points once again. These are the different HD DVR models that your GenieGo will work with here. Make sure you have one of these before you spend the money. And then also, it's important to note, this does not come in a wireless model. You have to make sure that you have an available Ethernet port, typically on your router. Also, you're limited to 5 devices. And that means a device can be a computer like a Windows or Macintosh, or a tablet or an iPod. And if you try to activate another one, like number 6, basically it will ask you to deactivate another one first. Also, you can only have one GenieGo unit per DirecTV account. And as we noted, when you first activate your DirecTV GenieGo software on your device, it's going to ask you to log into your DirecTV account. And then another important note is, once you delete your programs from your DVR, it will also delete them from the GenieGo. So if your program on your PC or your device, your tablet, has not downloaded from the GenieGo and you delete it from the DVR, it's going to be deleted. Now, I believe if it's in the process of downloading, it will not let you delete it on the DVR itself. But if it hasn't even started yet and you try to download it, it's going to have to go ahead and, well, it won't be able to re-encode it because it won't be there. So you'll be out of luck. Anyway, just be careful there. And the final note is, if you do use a USB memory stick, or I guess you can actually use a hard drive, the GenieGo is going to reformat it, and so any data you had on there is going to be lost. I'm not sure what sort of format they use for the disk, but I put one into my computer and the Windows would not recognize it. It asked you to reformat it so Windows could use it, so probably some sort of Unix variant. Just one final note, and probably a very important thing to be aware of. As it notes here in the user guide, it's not really a very fast device, this GenieGo. It's a one-to-one transcoding process, meaning that if you have a 1-hour program, it's going to take about 1 hour to actually prepare that and make it available for download to your PC or tablet. So with your new Genie DVRs, I believe you're able to record 5 shows at one time. So take an example where you're actually recording 5 1-hour programs all at the same time, and you have those all set to download to your PC. That's going to take a minimum of 5 hours to complete, because the GenieGo is going to have to take one show at a time, and it's a one-to-one transcoding process. So if it takes 60 minutes, it's going to take 60 more minutes to transcode it. And then you have your additional time to download to your PC, which probably is just a few minutes per program on a fast local area network. But in any case, if you're in a big hurry to watch these shows on your PC right after they've been recorded to your DVR, it's probably not going to happen. But then you always have the streaming option. There's also other caveats that might slow down the process. Like they note down here, if you have other receivers on your whole home DVR service that are trying to access those programs at the same time, that might potentially slow down your conversion process. All right, I hope you found this helpful.